Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about life is to have fun. And if you were raised like me, I thought I was having fun, particularly when I was invited to go somewhere at a party or traveling or whatever. I thought, oh, this is fun, but to truly enjoy life is to have fun all the time, not just when you're invited somewhere, but to have that peace, that joy inside yourself when you're the only one sitting in a room. This was foreign to me. I was sitting in a room watching a television show, and I was the only person there. And I found myself just laughing out loud. And at first I felt kind of funny about it. But then I realized I was doing it more and more. And I think that's what true happiness is. It's not just a cutout for when you're having a plan or you're someplace extravagant or whatever. It's walking in happiness. And to do so, I think we need to back up and even observe the way we look at other people. I know we've talked about sharing in other people's joy when something good happens for them, to be happy for them. But there's so much more. There's tweaking and adjusting your thoughts, and I believe we've gone through all this, but true happiness, I think, comes with peace. And peace comes from when you can set your own envy aside, because what happens with somebody else has nothing to do with you. But when you can set envy aside and truly be happy for someone else, and truly be kind, and not gossip, because gossip carries guilt. Not only is it hurtful to the recipient at the other end, but if you do it and you have any kind of conscience at all, then you do get a bit of guilt. So the better person that you strive to be and make yourself, the happier you are, because you're contented with the person that you are. You know that you've become a good person, and I believe that brings peace. When you know that the way you treated someone was the right way, that you didn't do anything to make others feel bad, I believe that makes your surroundings happier as well. I really do. I really honestly believe that. Eliminate all of that stuff. Or if somebody started it, then to cut it short and walk in more purity of heart. And what's funny is when you're by yourself and you feel this peace and you become this person that walks in kindness, that walks in peace and serenity and all of those good things. And then when you're thrust out to the crowds again, or on the phone with a friend, or surrounded by people, that's when the true test comes. And not to say that any of us won't backslide a bit. We're human beings. We're not perfect. I get that. But this would certainly be a goal to strive for. And finding true happiness within yourself is also placing true happiness on others. And by doing so, I mean being a light to them, somebody that's inspiring to someone else, somebody who lights up a room when they walk in. But aside from that, I even traveled to Europe. But unless you have that absolute peace going on inside, it doesn't matter where you are. To have true happiness, I believe you have to be walking correctly, and then you can find that happiness whether you're sitting in your home or you're sitting in a villa in Italy. It doesn't matter. The point is that true happiness comes from the inside. I remember it's been a long time, and I was going through a rather rough time in my life, and I was speaking with this man at Starbucks, and I said, I feel like I just want to move away. And he goes, no matter where you go, you have to take yourself with you. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's right. So it's not a matter of running from yourself. It's a matter of correcting what's going on in you that's not working for you. Being sensitive to what starts to bring out that feeling that you don't like, or that feeling that's knocking you back a bit. And if you do get that feeling, it's something that you either need to work on or eliminate altogether. Because that would show you that that particular thing is not working for you. Actually, to really have fun, which amounts to really enjoying your life, I think that there's a resistance. Well, in other words, we're not used to feeling that absolute joy, that absolute happiness, that absolute fun when you're doing absolutely nothing. It's like what we talked about in an earlier episode about there's another level to life. There is another level to happiness as well. And this just became very apparent to me. I assume we all kind of think the same in terms of our excitement elevates when we're up for a promotion, or say a new love interest, or maybe buying a new car, new home, or traveling, going out to the club for that evening. All of those things bring basically a short-term excitement, a burst of fun at that moment. But I'm talking about living your life in fun all the time. I know I made an earlier episode entitled Betty. She's a friend of mine. Well, unfortunately, she did pass away, but that woman found fun in absolutely everything. And it was really good for me to be around her because I had never met anybody like that. No matter what we did, no matter who we were around, she was interested in what others were doing. She was interested in what we were looking at. She found everything interesting and fun. In fact, she used the term fun a lot. And that was actually a good example for me because I had never seen anybody have fun wherever they go, whatever they do. And don't get me wrong, I know we need to be responsible. Regardless, we can have that peace, that joy, that happiness, that fun within us and still be serious and responsible. So remember, just like there's another level to life, and maybe you haven't experienced that next level yet because, again, it goes back to that saying, you don't know how something is until you've walked in those shoes. But as you climb the ladder and as you evolve as a human being, I believe these levels will open up for you. And I believe there's another level to having fun, to having joy, without the resistance, without the guilt, feeling like you should be doing something else. And part of that is becoming the best person that you can be, is living your best life. And walking in this joy doesn't mean you have to walk around with a smile on your face 24/7, but you feel it on the inside. And people on the outside will notice that there is something different about you. So just the fact that you can live at another level, you can feel joy at another level, it's so exciting. Whoever said life tops off where it's at? because this is not all there is. Where you're at right now is not all there is. There is more. In fact, I think you can look at life in a more humorous way. If you turn around your thoughts and the things that you think are so devastating, if you turn it around into humor, I think not only is it easier to digest, but I also believe that things work out in a better way. It seems that the universe is all about our attitude. And if we have the attitude of joy and find humor in things, then they work out with us actually having to go through the toxic part of living it, of living in that worry, living in that frame of mind, that doom and gloom, which takes a toll on your health. So it's really a win-win to adjust who you are in terms of taking the right steps forward in life and living it at the highest level you can at that time and striving to step up to the next level always and living to where your life is having more fun. And then in return, I believe it reflects on your health, mentally and physically. So basically, living your best life is not only a win-win, but it's the healthy way to live. It's funny now when I listen to people talk about they're so excited to go traveling or so excited to buy this home. Honestly, not that I'm not happy for them, don't get me wrong, because I know they're happy and that's great. But I personally have no desire. I mean, if I was going to do something for the right reason, it would be great as part of an extension of the life I'm living now. But the point I'm making is that it shouldn't be based around those trips or whatever. It should be your day-to-day. You're going to the office. You're walking in. You're saying hello to people. Everything should be fun. Life in general should be fun. Unfortunately, all of this stuff takes a little bit of work. It takes some effort and some energy. I'll give you a hypothetical to kind of make you understand. I was listening to somebody speak about they had digestive issues. And so they wanted to finally nip in the bud. So they started eating a certain way and eliminating certain things. And that caused them to go into depression. So for like 2 years, they were not feeling their best. Their moods were up and down. But then finally they came out on the other side. So I think anything that's worth doing takes some effort. And it's actually a little bit boring in the beginning. It's interesting when you become your best self. It's like you feel the change within you, and then others will start observing it. And this is just a side note. If others start resisting it, there's nothing you can do about that. It's like whatever. That's their issue. Some people are uncomfortable that you're not seeing at the same level that they're at, but that's not your issue. So to make these changes, I think you will start seeing the light more and more and more. You will notice a little bit of bounce in your step. You will notice the sky is a little more clear. You're living at this new level. You're living in happiness. Your life is fun. And so if you are fortunate enough to travel or get something that you wanted or whatever, that is just icing on the cake. But it shouldn't only be those times that you are having fun or excited. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to be fun. And I think you should walk in that joy every day, every moment of every day. You know, a big part of what created a big change for me was the pandemic. And I know they say every cloud has a silver lining. And I know that that was a devastating thing. What it created for me was this kind of bubble where I wasn't able to be around anybody else. So I was home, and I think that was kind of a turning point, was getting away and being just with me, because in the past, I would fill my days constantly with other people, doing, going, and that forced me to be alone with me. And I believe that forced me to make changes, not changes that I worked on, but changes that almost took place organically. I mean, they just happened, and I could actually feel it. And a couple people even commented. So that's what you have to be cautious of when you're trying to make these changes, when you're trying to be your best self, is getting too many opinions from other people or too many personalities. You almost have to separate yourself from that. What's funny is even now, somebody sent me a text yesterday about how diet soda, what it does to you. And I thought, why did she send this to me? I mean, I don't ask people to critique my dietary habits or my health. Why people do that? It'd be different if I asked for help or whatever. And by the way, I'm not a big soda drinker anyway, so I don't know why that was sent to me. So what I'm saying, you need to protect yourself. And so you need to stay steadfast and be confident and know who you are in your own walk. You don't even need to discuss it with anyone because, well, first of all, you just don't need to. But second of all, sometimes trying to explain what you mean, what you're trying to do to other people, I can tell by the feedback I get from other people when I do try to explain that they don't understand what I'm saying anyway. So just be protective of yourself. And you have to realize that the things that are upsetting to you, if you really dissect it, it's usually, well, partially not even your problem. It's somebody else. So if it is somebody else's problem, you can help them from afar. And I know the more invested, the more you love someone, the harder it is to kind of detach from that. And I'm not saying detach from that person, but detach from the situation and realize that that particular situation that's upsetting to you is not your problem. And if what you're going through that might be affecting you is your problem, is something that you're doing, then take the steps to make the change. Take the steps that need to be taken to alleviate the situation. So remember, no matter where you're at right now, there is another level to happiness. There is another level to living. That this is not it where you're at. You just don't know it yet because you haven't been there yet. I believe having fun is having the freedom to let go and just laugh, regardless of where you are, who you're with, even when you're there alone. So remember, in closing, that there are more levels to come. There's more levels in your living, And there's more levels in your joy, fun, happiness. Keep moving up. Keep moving forward. Keep living your best life. Keep being who you are, taking the steps forward. That being said, I want to thank you for listening, and I will speak to you next week. Bye-bye.